Hello everybody. First of all, can I say thank you so much for looking in my video, and to those so many people that made comments about my video. I was amazed actually that I've had about 400 odd comments about this, some people being miserable in the UK. And I've had comments from all around the world, people saying, well, I've had some Scottish people saying, well, we're not, miserable in Scotland, Scotland, and it's been really interesting. And so many views. Normally I only get a couple of views on my videos, and so many people have viewed the video about my comment about how people seem miserable and lacking in people skills. But of course you can't generalise, and there's been a lot of thoughtful comments, and some from all around the world. Some people saying, well, it's the same in our country, which was interesting. Even somebody from Russia, wrote in, and we've had people from the USA too, and there's been some lovely comments from expats. In particular, I mentioned a lady who went to Mexico. She said she loved London, but she did find it quite miserable living in London, and she's now moved to Mexico, where she built her own house by the sea. And what was really lovely was that the locals there welcomed her with an open heart, and I think that's nice. So of course you can't generalise, but a lot of people wrote in and said, well, particular generations are suffering. Those who are trying to find accommodation, trying to set up a mortgage to buy a house, are finding it particularly tough. And I can understand that, life is very, very tough. And, energy bills have gone up astronomically since the pandemic, and it's been tough. Even me at home, we've been turning our heating down since all of that, and it reminds me of my childhood that I grew up in quite a cold house, and we've gone back to it now. So, but anyway, just a big thank you for all your comments and all of you viewing. I think that the point is, for me, is that, like I say, smaller communities where I live, I often go to the local supermarket, and to be honest with you, people are really friendly there. It's when I venture to places that I don't know, where it's bigger, or people commute in and things like that, people seem less friendly. But I will admit that I am quite outgoing and quite an eccentric actually at times, and I do chat to people. I do try and smile at people, and to be honest with you, it does help, and I've even engaged in conversations with complete strangers, and instantly you kind of make new friends sometimes, and I quite like that. What I do hate is people being arrogant and horrible towards other people, and bullying and rude behaviour. And I think that's, in Britain, we do like, we're quite disciplined in a way, and we do queue properly and things like that. But we are quite reserved actually, and I think we don't display a lot of warmth, I would say. But I'm generalising, aren't I? But I think there's an awful lot of kindness, and I would urge people to be kind towards each other, particularly during these difficult times. Princess Di once said that, I think it's a lovely saying this, she said, carry out a random act of kindness, safe in the knowledge that someone else will do the same for you one day. And I think in life, it's really important to be kind and to empathise with each other, and to be understanding of each other, and to be supporting of each other. And I'll tell you one story, a random act of kindness. Many of you are much younger than me. But yeah, back in the 1970s, early 1970s, I was I was about 19 years old, and I'd done a job at Kew Gardens. No, it wasn't Kew Gardens, it was the Chelsea Flower Show, actually. And I'd worked a really hard job in this sort of catering tent thing. And on our last day, we all got together and we had a bit of a drink in the pub. And I was okay whilst I was in the pub, but when I hit the fresh air going home, and I was going home on my own, I started getting a bit wobbly. And I'd had too much to drink. And around that time, there were a lot of Scottish in London, and on the very next day, they invaded the pitch at Wembley and tore up bits of Wembley turf and misbehaved like mad. But anyway, I was going home on the last tube, and I started conking out and falling asleep. Anyway, this complete stranger, a Scotsman, I remember the Scottish accent, came up and said, asked me, what station are you getting off? Because, you know, this is the last train and I want to make sure you get off all right. And he did. He kindly woke me up and I staggered, wobbling off, a bit drunk, worse for wear. And I got off at the station that I needed. It was Kilburn. And as I got out of the station, they were closing the gates and they were shutting it. Thank God he woke me up, this complete random stranger, and what a lovely act of kindness. And, you know, and this could have been one of the marauders on the pitch, but, you know, what a good turn he done me, because A, it helped ensure I got home pretty safely, you know. Nobody stole off me, or I didn't end up at the end of the line and really struggle to get home. What a really good turn he'd done me. So lovely. Just to talk a little bit about myself, I used to be a probation officer, and quite a tough job. I don't think that many people know what probation do, to be honest, or really appreciate the work of probation officers, which has been the point of my video. And I've written a book, and I've tried to get people to think about how would they sentence somebody, and to try and see people's different experiences. So that's me, and I've been retired for over 10 years now, and a bit by accident, my kind of plan was to try and work with youngsters and stop them becoming offenders. And I set up a community interest company, and it didn't work, to be honest. And a bit by accident, I've become an entertainer with people who have dementia, and I kind of get them to sing songs. I do reminiscence work. I show them the school they used to go to. I show them the house where they grew up on a big screen. And I also work with adults with learning disabilities, and there I'm an entertainer again. During the pandemic, I was on local radio, and I did a special show for these people with learning disabilities, and one of them became a DJ with me, which was terrific. And 2 evenings a week, I work with these adults with learning disabilities. And I'll tell you what, although I don't earn a great deal of money, I'm 69 now, I don't earn a great deal of money, but I tell you what, I love my work, you know, and these people with learning disabilities are so welcoming and smiley, and we all, as a community, we all support each other, you know, and we have a great time. And we're all there with great smiles on our faces. So, and that's it. So I hope you find it interesting. I hope you find looking at my videos interesting. The other fact about me was my mum is French and my dad was British. And that was two different sort of cultures that I grew up with. And I make one or two interesting observations, and that's a video worth looking at, what it was like for me to grow up half French and half British. And yeah, and it might give you a different perspective on life too. Anyway, thank you so much for all your contributions. I'm really, really grateful. I'm really grateful to all these people who subscribed. It's fantastic. Thank you so much for your fantastic comments. And quite a few people sent little jokes in, which I thought were terrific, actually. Really great. So, and a lot of very thoughtful, interesting comments about how we're all going through really, really tough times, all walks of life. But what seems to come over is smaller communities where people know each other seem a lot nicer these days. And it can be in the UK or anywhere in the world. And I think the key point is that we all need to make a bit of an effort now and again to reach out, you know, and I think it reaps lots of reward. So get doing your random acts of kindness. And meanwhile, if we don't speak again, I hope you have a lovely Christmas. All the very best now. Cheers. Bye-bye.